I'm Bob DeStefano. I'm president of SVM eMarketing Solutions. We're a B2B digital marketing agency. We're in our 30th year of business, and we focus exclusively working with industrial distributors and manufacturers to help you grow your leads, sales, and profits online. And today's topic is e-commerce. And it's an important topic for distributors for a number of reasons that I'm going to be going through. And I speak with probably hundreds of distributors every few months about their e-commerce initiatives, and many of them have made a significant investment. However, not that many have seen the return on that investment. And it's unfortunate because I think that some of them have approached it the wrong way. One is they view it as a tech project and not necessarily a marketing project or a sales project. It needs to be an all-encompassing project to really produce the results that you're looking for. And the second thing is that they think they're outgunned. They think they just do not have the budgets to go against the big e-commerce players. So what should they do? And I'm here today to tell you that you have a unique advantage that you can leverage to compete against the big B2B e-commerce players. And I want to define what I mean by compete at this point. What I mean by compete is that you can become the customer's best choice to do business with. So it's not that you're going to get the same sales level that these big players are going to get. However, you can become the best choice for your ideal customers and profit that way. So what I'm going to be doing is going through a number of best practices and strategic ideas that I know will work for you so that you can either get involved in the e-commerce game or up your e-commerce game. Okay, so I want to talk about e-commerce in distribution and just sort of how we got to the point where we are today, because e-commerce has been a very important topic for distributors for decades. However, we reached a point during COVID where it became not just a nice to have, it started to become a necessity, and now it's a must have. What I'm showing you here is a chart that was put together by a company called HubSpot, a marketing automation platform that focuses on working with B2B companies. And what they did was they tracked B2B website traffic before and after COVID. And as you can see here, as soon as COVID hit in 2020, B2B websites traffic started just amping up because it was the only way to do business. And it's continuing to grow from that point. I think at this point right now, we're probably at 120% higher traffic levels than we were before COVID, and it's rising month to month. And the important thing to know about this is that the companies that were prepared, the companies that had a solid e-commerce strategy in place, they actually were able to take advantage of the situation. I know that a lot of companies struggled during COVID. Some had to close their businesses and unfortunately lay off people, struggle for a number of months or years. But as you can see here, the companies that made a strategic investment in e-commerce, they actually saw a spike in sales due to this increase in website traffic due to COVID and people going online. So if you're prepared, if you can put the right pieces in place to have that solid e-commerce strategy, you can really produce significant returns for your business. And I'll be going through a number of ideas that you can put in place to get there. So I want to start by reviewing the landscape. Distribution Strategy Group is a company, fantastic consulting company that provides tremendous research on distribution best practices and what's going on in the industry. This is one of the charts that they had put together, which basically shows distributor e-commerce adoption and maturity. And what they mean by adoption is the percentage of companies that offer e-commerce on their website. And maturity means how many of those companies can say that 10% or more of their revenues are coming from e-commerce, their total sales? And as you can see here, taking a look at this, Janssen, electronics, hardware, electrical, they're pretty mature and they have adopted e-commerce in a pretty strong way. Other companies, and I'm focusing on these two in particular because this represents a lot of the people that are on the call right now. Building materials and construction still has a lot of growth ahead of them. And industrial, just general industrial companies are kind of at that midpoint, and they have a way to grow as well. So if you haven't gotten involved with it or you haven't focused on it strategically, there's a great opportunity to outpace your competitors because most of them have not achieved that level of maturity or adoption. So I want to talk about a number of e-commerce myths and realities, just so that you have a very good understanding of what really is going on out there. Because a lot of companies that I talk to, they have misconceptions about what e-commerce will do for their businesses, how it will grow their distribution business. And I just want to make sure that they set the record straight so that we can approach it the right way. So the first myth that I hear all the time is that distributors feel that if they have a standalone e-commerce website, they just set up an e-commerce website, it's going to maximize sales on its own. We can just set it up, do some marketing, and it'll just work and start cranking out sales. And the reality is that can't work in a B2B environment. B2B e-commerce is very different from B2C e-commerce. With B2C e-commerce, the entire transaction occurs on the site. People are researching products, they're selecting products, and they're conducting the transaction via credit card. With B2B, it's very different because they may be going online to find products, they may be trying to figure out what they want to purchase, but when it comes time to make that selection and make that purchase, they need help. They need to help selecting what products are best for them. So they need to speak with salespeople to help them with that product selection. Or maybe they need a quote request because the complexity of the products just lends itself to that versus an online transaction. Perhaps there's another payment method that they need to use. They can't go through a normal credit card transaction like on a B2C site. They may need to have a purchase order submitted or a line of credit that they want to leverage, some other payment method that needs to be put in place. Or there could be multiple decision makers in the process. So it could be that the end user or a lower level employee is going online to perform the research to find the product that, or the collection of products that need to be purchased, but it needs to go up the approval chain and needs to be approved by a plant manager, purchasing agent, whatever that would be. So all these different barriers to cart transactions are really what's standing in the way of a lot of distributors producing a strong return on investment. Now, to really put this point home, Distribution Strategy Group, again, did some research on B2B customer buying behavior. And what they found is that there's a very distinct difference between shopping and buying. They define shopping as the process of finding, researching, and selecting products, and it happens before the purchase. And buying is what happens when they actually make the purchase. They actually conduct that transaction. And what they found is that B2B customers, they are going online when they're trying to shop, when they're trying to research products, trying to figure out what they want to purchase. They're going on search engines like Google, they're going on distributors' websites, they're going on manufacturers' websites, and then they're going through their traditional methods of reaching out to company representatives. However, when it comes to the actual buying, the actual transaction and the purchase, only about 36% are actually placing that order on the website via some type of credit card transaction. The other 2/3, they prefer to emailing a quote request. They want to pick up the phone, they want to call their sales rep. They want to visit a branch location. They may want a representative to visit them in person. So it's important to understand that you need to have a strong e-commerce website with strong marketing power to attract those customers. However, to actually get those orders, you need to approach it differently other than just relying on that credit card transaction or that shopping cart transaction. And essentially what B2B customers want today is an omni-channel experience. And what that means is that no matter how they get in touch with you, whether they go to your branch location, whether they pick up the phone and call a rep, whether they visit your website, they want the same type of experience. They want their information to be accessible throughout all those different channels, and they want to be able to do different business a number of different ways. The single channel approach is what a lot of distributors got away with for decades because that's how customers wanted to do business with. Right now, many distributors are approaching it with that multi-channel approach where the customer can go to the branch location, or they can go on the e-commerce website, or they can call a rep. However, each of those transactions is separate and it's not all integrated. So what you want to get towards is that omni-channel approach. Okay, the second myth that I want to dispel is that a regional distributor's e-commerce website should and will transform it into a national player. A lot of distributors I talk to think that I'm going to make this investment in e-commerce, even though I serve the Michigan area. Now I can serve a national audience or an international audience because I have a website that can conduct transactions anywhere. But the reality is that's not the best path to success. Again, Distribution Strategy Group did some great research, and they talked to the most successful distributors in e-commerce, the ones that are producing the best returns, and asked them, what are your priorities? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve with e-commerce? And what they found was that the most successful ones are focusing on not trying to go outside of their territory. They're trying to grow revenue within their existing customer base. So to get their existing customers to buy more products more often, to grow revenue with new customers within their existing geographies. So they're staying within their footprint, but they're trying to expand their influence. They're trying to grow the number of orders and grow business in current geography, so maybe outside of their borders. So the strongest strategy for e-commerce is not to think of it as I'm going to have a nationwide business now instead of a regional local business. Certainly, you will get those national orders. However, the strongest strategy for growth for you is to focus on your existing territory. So your e-commerce marketing priorities should be, first, to find new customers within your territory and your niche. And then the second is to focus on your existing customer base. That's where a real goldmine exists. Getting your existing customer base to buy more often from you, to buy a wider range of products from you, and to re-engage customers that have not purchased over the past 12 months, leveraging a number of different techniques to reach out to them. So having that e-commerce website, you can sell more to your existing customer base, as well as attract new customers that are performing that research online, as we just discussed. Okay, so the best way to compete against the B2B e-commerce giants is this concept right here, and that is to embrace a hybrid sales model. This is something that most of them cannot do. Many of them cannot do. What a hybrid sales model means is that you are serving customers three different ways. You're serving them through your digital sales, your e-commerce website. You're serving them through your outside sales force, and you're serving them through your inside sales force. No matter how they want to do business with you, they can go through either one of these methods and be able to get that level of personalized service. The big B2B e-commerce players, they are relying largely on the digital sales side. So your advantage is by providing personalized, customized service, leveraging this hybrid sales model. And if you haven't been approaching hybrid sales, it's something that I strongly recommend that you do. This is research that was done by McKinsey recently. This is overall B2B companies. Where are they investing in terms of their sales force and their sales teams? And there's a huge growth in investment in that digital and hybrid model, as opposed to just relying just on traditional inside and outside salespeople. So if you haven't been focusing on growing that hybrid sales team, I strongly recommend that you do. And I want to provide you with 6 strategies that I know will work for you to establish that hybrid sales model. First is just establish a mindset within your organization that we've done business a certain way in the past. We're going to change the way that we're doing business. We're going to not just sell the way we traditionally did. We're going to sell the way our customers want to buy, meaning that we're going to create a framework in which the sales reps know how to sell the way that your customers want to buy. You're training your field sales reps to sell virtually. You're training them on how they can leverage those different models. Now, to get your salespeople excited about the process of hybrid sales, you need a different mindset. One is you need to incentivize them differently. So their commissions are top of mind in a lot of cases. So what you need to do is you need to encourage and incentivize new KPIs. So instead of just compensating salespeople based on revenue they have in the pipeline or their close rates or those traditional sales statistics, you need to start compensating people based on other KPIs, based on how well are they serving the customer. For example, how fast can we respond to customer inquiries? Establish a benchmark for what you would like that to be, establish the KPI that people should hit, and compensate them based on that. So find new ways to get them excited about this hybrid sales model. Ultimately, it will benefit the customer and ultimately benefit you. Next is you need to focus on building a team culture. A lot of times salespeople are competing against each other, and that works very well for a company because if salespeople are competing against each other, they're each striving for higher and higher sales dollars, which benefits the company overall. However, to establish this hybrid sales model, they need to work more as a team. So there needs to be more fostering of knowledge and collaboration. They need to share what's working, successful sales approaches. And really, you need to establish a culture where you're holding team building events and activities that strengthen those personal bonds so that salespeople are working together more than working against each other. Now, to do that effectively, I recommend that you invest in tools that will support that process. So tools that support remote selling and sales team collaboration. These tools are not necessarily expensive tools. They just need to be used properly. Tools that I recommend, a CRM. HubSpot is a great CRM that I recommend working with. A lot of times your ERP systems will come with CRMs that can work very well for you. But what they do is they allow everyone to stay in sync with the customer relationship and work together to build that customer relationship and grow sales. You can also use remote collaboration tools. If people are still not back in the office or you always worked in that remote model, establish collaboration tools so that they can share knowledge, better communication, better organization, share those best practices. Slack is one of those applications. There's a number of them out there, but make the investment in the tools and the training so that your salespeople can establish this hybrid sales model. Next, this is very important. Assign salespeople to your e-commerce customers. Don't pit it so that your salespeople are competing against your e-commerce storefront. They need to think of it as a tool that can help them grow. So what I like to see is that even though an order may have come in online, it should be assigned to a salesperson within your company who will reach out to that customer and say, thank you for your order. I want to let you know my name is Bob DeStefano. I am your representative here, and I'm here to answer any questions and help you in any way that I can. So that allows you, again, to compete against the big players by personalizing service at a level that they cannot. And what you want to do is continue to pay commissions to these salespeople on the growth in e-commerce sales, even though that customer came in through that channel. And then finally, it's very important that you stay transparent. In a lot of cases, this is a big change for your salespeople. So you want to let them understand what's expected of them, how they're going to be incentivized for great performance and what those KPIs are, and what are the consequences if they don't play ball or willfully neglect this entire process. So really, if you can establish this hybrid sales model, this is probably the strongest strategy that you can leverage to be the go-to player, the best choice for your customers against the big e-commerce players. And the reason you're the best choice is because it allows you to add a level of personalization that they can't even come close to. The massive e-commerce players, they rely on algorithms or other technologies to allow them to personalize recommendations and personalize the customer experience. But they can never compete with your team's ability to personalize the experience through their extensive knowledge of their market and their applications. You know every facet of your customers' businesses. You're helping them on a day-to-day basis. You have long-standing relationships with suppliers, so you can really help them when they need certain products in a pinch. And you can help them understand how to overcome logistical constraints that they may be experiencing, which we all have within recent years. So they cannot do this at the same level that you can because you have the personalized approach that you've been leveraging through your salespeople. Establish that hybrid sales model, and you can establish that personalization. So some specific recommendations on how to do that. First is become a niche player. A lot of times distributors make a mistake of trying to be everything to everyone, and they end up being nobody to no one. Most of the time you are serving specific customers in a specific industry, specific types of companies, specific types of individuals, specific types of applications. What you want to do is really lean into those niches that you are focusing very well on, and really lead with that on your e-commerce website as well as in your marketing. Showcase your deep expertise, and you can really provide a lot more value to your customers than a broad general distributor would be able to. You want to be the go-to expert. You already are in the offline world. People come to you because you have specialized knowledge that you're sharing with them on a regular basis. What you want to do is position your team as the knowledgeable consultants rather than just a seller, and really provide problem-solving solutions and support on your website. So that your website is not just a sales tool, it's also an educational tool that will help customers do their jobs better and allow you to build those stronger bonds. Next is leverage your local advantage. So your local advantage allows you to provide a number of different options for fast delivery, same-day pickup. They can visit your location for support. So really play up the fact that you can provide that very localized support beyond just what's available on your website. Offer value-added services. If you're not offering value-added services, you're in a race to the bottom with prices. So figure out what are the value-added services that your customers would need in addition to the products themselves. In many cases, price is not the first item that customers are looking at when they're trying to decide what company to work with. They want to know what's the total package, what's the full value that I'm going to be getting. So make sure that you're leading with that value, the value-added services through technical expertise, advice, consultation, the types of services that larger players just don't have time for. You want to emphasize those personal relationships. And that's why I recommend that you assign a salesperson to all e-commerce orders. Let them know there's a real person there that's there to support them, there to serve them. And it's not just going to be some automated system. It's a real person that understands their business, their needs, and can help them. And you also want to use technology, but you don't want to use it as a replacement for this personalized approach. You want to use it as a tool that allows your salespeople and customer service people to just be more efficient in the way that they're approaching things. That's why I made the recommendation before. Investments in CRM, investments in those collaboration tools will allow your salespeople to provide extremely personalized service in a way that's not extremely time-consuming. Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears and talk a little bit more about specific tactics and specific aspects of your e-commerce strategy and ways that you can leverage it. And I'm going to start with generative AI, because if it's not something that you're using on a weekly basis or daily basis, you're missing out on a great opportunity, because generative AI really has become the marketing superpower that you can leverage. What generative AI is, it's a type of artificial intelligence that takes human inputs and creates something entirely new from it. It could be written words, it could be music, it could be video, it could be art. Essentially, the way that it works, you will give it a prompt, you will tell it to do something or ask it to do something. It will then very quickly give you an output with whatever your response you're looking for. If you're looking for it to write something, it will write it for you. If you're looking for it to answer a question, it will answer the question for you. If you're looking for it to extend what you've created, it will do that. What these AI models do is provide more context and make the outputs better and allows you to create information and basically serve customers that much more quickly, leveraging these models. This is basically the generative AI arms race. Generative AI really came on the scene late 2022 and really started growing in importance 2023. The one in the center there is really the superpower, OpenAI that runs ChatGPT. ChatGPT is also funded by Microsoft up in the upper right-hand section. There's also some other popular ones that you may want to take a look at. Google, in my opinion, was kind of not caught off guard, but we're a little bit behind in terms of their approach to generative AI. When ChatGPT came out, they rushed out their offering and needed to rework it and retool it. Gemini is the tool that Google uses right now. Jasper is another tool that you can use for generative AI. And that one has been around before this past year, but they're all using some level of machine learning to create great content that can be leveraged for various marketing activities. So I think it'll be great to give you an example. So this is an example of working with generative AI and the type of output and what you can do with it. And the best way to work with this is imagine that you're collaborating with someone sitting across your desk and you're asking them to do something, they're doing something for you, you're then giving them feedback, they're giving you something back, and there's a bit of a back and forth process that occurs. That's really the best way to use generative AI. And I'm going to show you a couple examples that I did recently with ChatGPT. So my prompt on this one was, create a short blog post about the advantages of leveraging marketing automation. And then within seconds, ChatGPT was able to create this article very, very quickly. Now, I was able to take this article that they created and say, just make it shorter. And it was able to very, very quickly just summarize that article, just make it much shorter based on the information that I provided. So the more information that you provide generative AI, the better the output will be. So the more information that you provide it, the more quality information it will produce for you. Here's another example. This one is create a short email inviting a prospect out to our company's equipment demonstration day. And very quickly, it just created a nice little template that can be leveraged, that could be used in an email. And then a follow-up prompt could be make it shorter and put it in a more conversational tone. I don't want it that professional. And then boom, ChatGPT produces this information that's right here, much shorter and much more personalized. And you can go back and forth. And you can basically use this for any type of information that you're looking for to create or to learn about. What you can do with generative AI now is instead of going to Google and performing a search and trying to find the answer to your question by visiting many websites and reviewing the information, ChatGPT can summarize it based on what's out there. It basically finds its information by information that has already been published out online, takes it, summarizes it, makes sense of it, and puts it in a format based on how you'd like to use it. Now, what you can do with generative AI is generate ideas. If you want to come up with ideas of blog topics that you want to write about, you can use it for that. You can use it to actually write the content itself as a first draft to break through that writer's block. You can use it to simplify complex ideas or wordy text. I'll give you an example of how I use it. Every client call that I have that I record via Zoom, I have a text transcript. I take that text transcript, I pop it into ChatGPT, and I ask it, take this and summarize it in a memo form that I can share with my team. And it takes that long transcript of dialogue and summarizes it in a nice little format that can be used. You can synthesize research. So if there's long research reports or long documents that you want it to summarize for you, you can do that. It can also create visuals for content. It actually can create images based on text information that you provide to it. You can take blog posts and turn it into a full campaign. Okay, I have this blog post that was very popular. Create a marketing campaign based on this, leveraging a number of different marketing tools. How can I leverage it? It will come up with ideas for you. It can create ads and landing page copies and lead nurturing sequences. So there's so many different things that you can do with generative AI that basically will shorten the process of being an effective marketer. So if you haven't leveraged any generative AI to this point, I strongly recommend that you get involved with it. And ChatGPT is one that I would take a look at, as well as Gemini, the Google product. Those are the two that I would start with. Now, I'm talking about how great generative AI is, but I also want to caution you. There are a number of limitations that generative AI has that you need to take into account. First is generative AI cannot conduct its own original research. Anything that you get back from ChatGPT is just information that it found out there somewhere online, learned about, synthesized, and is spitting back to you. So it's not going to be original research. And also, the information that it's providing to you, you need to fact check it. You need to make sure that it's actually correct. The information that's being sent back, you can't always completely rely on it. Also, it can't provide a lived experience, meaning that it can mimic humans, it can mimic human behavior, it can mimic human conversation, but it can't mimic a human experience. It can't provide that human perspective. In addition, you need to make sure you ensure quality. So if you create a blog post using ChatGPT, you can't just take that and run with it. You really need to make sure that you are reviewing it, making sure that it is passing editorial control and review and is quality content. So it certainly can shorten the process of creating blog content and other content, but it is something that you need to take a look at and consider it a first draft that you'll be performing a review on. And then finally, you need to be careful of possible copyright infringement. Again, since these products are basically going online and thinking that, these solutions are going online, synthesizing information it finds, and then summarizing it and spitting it back in the format you're looking for, it's learning this content from others. So just be careful that you're not violating any copyright infringements. Okay, so I brought up ChatGPT and generative AI at the beginning because I'm going to be talking about it in a number of different points because it's a tool that you can leverage in a number of different ways. So I'm going to switch gears now and talk about the website that you're offering a compelling and elegant website. Now, this is a way that you can compete against the big boys because most of them can't offer and don't offer compelling and elegant websites. In most cases, their sites will offer an overwhelming and distracting collection of product listings, overusing product sponsored advertisements, little, if any, educational value or sales support. You can overcome all of this by offering a customer-focused website that has great navigation, content-rich product pages, targeted focused promotions, not just general promotions, very helpful sales support, as well as a streamlined checkout process. So essentially what I recommend is that your e-commerce website should have B2C comfort with B2B strength. And what that means is that B2B comfort, we want your website to be as easy to use as the best B2C websites that are out there, in that the design is customer focused and mobile friendly. It's intuitive to navigate and search. The product pages are extremely informative, and they aid in the decision-making process because, again, customers are going online to perform their own research first. So we want to make sure that our site is providing them with that information they can use to make those decisions. Targeted customer-focused logical promotions, and a streamlined checkout process. So that's the B2C comfort. But you also need to provide that B2B strength because B2B buyers buy differently than B2C buyers, as mentioned earlier. So you need to offer problem-solving pre- and post-sales support. You need to offer helpful educational content, customer-specific pricing, multiple ordering options, not just the shopping cart transaction, but different ways that people can conduct business with you, as well as a dedicated sales team for each account. I like it when a dedicated salesperson is assigned to every e-commerce customer that comes through your site. So if you haven't approached e-commerce in the past, or if you are considering a change, these are the ways that I recommend thinking about it, at least from a technology standpoint. I have to say that this is not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is marketing, not the technical side of things, but these are the paths that distributors take when they're trying to consider what technology to work with. One is they can go and look at their ERP provider. In many cases, their ERP provider will provide some type of e-commerce module that you can use, or it may be built into the package itself to offer your e-commerce website. You can also take a look at software as a service solutions. These are hosted solutions where you don't have to buy software. In a sense, you're renting it and offering your storefront on their platforms. BigCommerce and Shopify are two that we've had great success with our clients. And also there are open source solutions. If you need to develop something custom, Adobe Commerce is a great platform. WooCommerce is a great platform if you have a WordPress website. So depending on your individual situation, there's a number of different paths. Ultimately, what you want to do is get towards that goal of having that website that has B2C comfort with B2B strength. Okay, next is provide detailed product information. This is extremely important because, as I mentioned earlier, that customers are performing their own research online before they are reaching out to you, before they're placing that order. So what you want to make sure is that you're providing them enough information so that they can make an informed product decision on their own, and then your salespeople and your support people are there to help them as needed. And a lot of distributors that I start working with, they come to me with sites that look like this in a lot of cases, unfortunately. And they are sites that are e-commerce websites, but they're clunky B2B sites. And you can't get away with a clunky B2B site these days. You need to, like I said before, offer that B2C comfort. So this is an example, I'm keeping them anonymous, of a food service distributor. And this is an example of one of their product pages. And this is pretty typical for a lot of distributors that I speak with in the beginning, where their e-commerce website offers maybe just a basic product name for each product, maybe a product photo, a product code, and a limited description. Now, this is enough in some cases for people to make a decision if they know exactly what product they're looking for, but in most cases, it's not enough for them to make a decision between different products. So I'm going to show you this same exact product on a different website. It's another food service distributor called webstaurantstore.com. I recommend you take a look at the site. It does a fantastic job with product content. So again, that same product that I just showed you on that other anonymous site, it has not just one product photo, it has multiple product photos. A very, very detailed description and specifications. Demonstration videos, so not just showcasing photos, but also videos that are demonstrating the product or showing the product in action. Documents, whether they're manuals, whether they're spec sheets, whether they're the warranties on the product themselves. So whatever documents would be necessary to make that decision. And then finally, customer reviews, which are extremely important. I know I use them, and I'm sure everybody on this call uses them. When you're on Amazon trying to decide what product to purchase, you rely heavily on what your peers have thought and what their experiences have been with that product itself. So offering those customer reviews. So this is what you want to shoot for in terms of offering product information. I'm not saying it has to be as detailed as this specific example, but again, you want to make it easy for your customers to make an informed product decision on their own, because they're going to perform research on their own on your website. If they don't find what they're looking for, they're going to bounce away. The first question or the first concern that I get from many distributors that I talk to is, Bob, you're nuts. There is no way that I can come up with this much product information for all of my products. I sell 30,000 SKUs. We could never do this. And I want to tell you, there is a manageable process to do this. And it's by leveraging the 80-20 rule. And if this applies for you, and it does for many companies that I work with, where 80% of your sales come from 20% of your product offering, what I recommend is that you focus on that 80% first. Well, build out those product pages on that, focus on that 20% first. Build out those product pages on the top 20%, which are your sellers that make up 80% of your sales, and then build out from there. There's a number of ways that you can get this content. You can reach out to manufacturers and aggregate it yourselves. There are product content providers like Distributor Data Solutions that you can subscribe to. You can also leverage tools like ChatGPT. So what I did was, for this very product, went over to ChatGPT, and you could do this with other generative AI products. And I said, create a detailed, compelling, and unique product description for a Turbo Air MUR 60N M3 series 60-inch under-counter refrigerator for a B2B e-commerce website. So that's the exact product that I just showed you. And within seconds, ChatGPT was able to produce this content. An overview of the product, its key features, benefits for a business, and specifications, other content that's available as well. You can't run with this content right from the system itself. Like I said, you need to go through quality control and editorial control. You want to make sure that you're reviewing it so that you can make sure it's accurate, it's unique, and you're not violating any copyrights. Okay, I am going to stop for a second and just take a question. I have a question here. Your thoughts on multiple niche sites versus all products on one site, or perhaps dedicated sections of a website for specific trades? Curious if SEO advantages of each. That's a great question, and there's no one answer. And I would say that if you have a type of product offering where you are serving specific niche audiences, but there is some possible cross-selling between the niches, then let's try to achieve it on one website. And let's have very targeted sections of your website that serve each of those niche audiences, but still allow those other groups to be able to purchase the products themselves, purchase those same products. So I think that if there's cross-selling opportunities, let's serve separate niche audiences in separate sections. If they are truly separate and distinct audiences, then yeah, leverage a microsite or a very focused website that just serves that one niche audience group. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, they sell many different industrial supplies, but they saw an opportunity selling drum handling equipment, and they really wanted to specialize in that area. So they developed an e-commerce website that just focuses on their drum handling equipment products, and they're doing very well with that strategy. So I think it really depends on your individual situation, but either one of those approaches will work. And regarding SEO, you will get the SEO value if you approach it properly. Okay, one other question that came in, the name of the content provider, Distributor Data Solutions, DDS, is the acronym for the company. What I will do after this webinar, I will, in addition to the recording, I will send out some resources related to those content providers. They're one of the main ones. There are other ones you can take a look at as well. Okay, so please keep those questions coming in, and we will move on. Okay. This is a great way to differentiate your company from the big e-commerce players, and that's by growing your sales by answering customers' questions. Customers always have questions when they're performing research online. And when they're on your website, they have questions, and they're not necessarily going to pick up the phone and call you when they're there. So what you want to do is make sure that you can answer as much of those questions on your website as you can. You want to make sure that your site is not just a site that sells, that one that also educates. You want to make sure that you become the go-to resource for business building ideas. So you want to embrace a concept that's known as content marketing. So you're not just in the business of selling industrial products, you're also in the business of knowledge. People don't choose to do business with you because you have the right products at the right price. It's because you have that specialized knowledge to share with them on a regular basis. So you want to make sure you lead with that knowledge on your website so that you can become that go-to resource. Now, a lot of times companies, they don't know what to write about. They may have an idea of what customers would be interested in, but they don't really have a focused approach towards creating that educational content to answer customer questions. I want to point out a resource that I think that you should take advantage of. It's probably one of the best content marketing books I've ever read. It's called They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And the idea here is that there are key topics that your customers are interested in. And what you want to do is write content that answers these customer questions. And this book basically identifies the top 5 topics that generate the most traffic, leads, and sales on a website. First is cost and pricing topics. Second is problems and issues topics. Next is comparisons of products. Fourth is reviews, and then fifth is best of lists. So I'm going to go through each of these just so that you have an understanding. Cost and pricing. Everyone wants to know how much does a product cost or how much does a solution cost when they're on a site. And if you're selling products directly and you're offering your pricing publicly, that you're addressing that. You're answering that question because they can see the price there. But if you're selling more complex solutions where it needs to be quoted out or a solution needs to be built based on a number of different products and maybe there could be better pricing, you want to make sure you're addressing those cost questions. And every time I make this recommendation, everyone throws their hands up in the air and gives an excuse for why they can't do it. They say, our products are customized for individual situations, so we could never write content that addresses that. Or we don't want our competitors to see what we're charging, or we might scare prospects away before we can explain costs. Well, there may be individual situations that you're working with, but there are ranges that you can provide. The reality is your competitors already know what you charge to a large degree, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you're going to scare prospects away with your pricing, they're probably not prospects to begin with, so I wouldn't worry about that. So I recommend that you address this topic head on. Learn ways that you can write articles just to give people an idea about what the pricing would be so they can answer that question of how much it would cost. So they're willing to reach out to you because you've built that level of trust with them. And they want to do business with you and they want to continue that sales discussion. Next one is problems and issues. The question is, what are typical issues I should be aware of? So you want to be really candid about problems that may exist and offer solutions. So your prospects may not really have a good understanding of the solution that you can provide. They may understand the symptoms of their problems, but they don't know what the solution should be, and they don't know which one to choose, the advantages and disadvantages of one versus the other. So you want to address that directly through this type of content. And you want to make sure that you have the record straight to reduce the number of non-fit prospects reaching out for help. So you want to make sure that they're not reaching out for a solution that doesn't work for them because of their individual situation. Answer that in an article so that you can save them time and also save your salespeople time. Next one is comparisons. Everyone wants to know which product is right for me. How do these solutions compare? So write articles, write content that will help them decide which solution is best for their situation, discuss the options, the pros and cons of each, how they compare to each other, which are better in certain applications and certain circumstances. And again, be as honest as possible. We're trying to build trust through this process. Next is reviews. People want to know what other people say about this. According to research, 95% of buyers report that reading reviews before making purchases are extremely important for them. So they want to know how other people feel about the purchase. Did it work for them? Was it successful for them? So you want to write content that will provide them with those reviews. In some cases, you can let your customers write the content themselves on your site, like Webster on Store, providing those reviews, or you can provide those honest reviews yourself by reviewing products. Even if they're products you don't sell, just comparing one versus the other so you can help that customer make the right decision. And then finally, best of lists. Everybody goes to search engines. They want to know what is the best blank when they're trying to find the certain product that they want to purchase. So you want to write content about how people can get the best results from using your products, which ones are best for certain applications, include those reviews, those ratings, the prices. And again, honesty and authenticity is extremely important to foster that trust. So creating this content, it takes a little bit of time and it takes a team effort. That's why I talked earlier about that hybrid sales model, getting everybody together as a team. You all want to get together and brainstorm what it is that customers are looking for. Your sales team, your customer service people, they're talking to customers on a daily basis. They know the questions their customers are asking on a regular basis. They know the common challenges. They know the concerns, the misconceptions. That's a great place where you can get ideas for content that you could be creating to create the big five. You could ask your current customers or your website visitors, what are questions that you may have? What are common questions that you may want to have answered? Listening on social media, just seeing what other individuals are saying in your industry. What are common questions that they have? Or take a look at your competitors' websites and see what type of content that they're producing. So there's a number of different ways that you can do this by getting your team together, performing research. Again, ChatGPT and generative AI can help with this as well. Here's an example prompt that I popped in recently. When B2B buyers are in the consideration stage of buying a product or service, they're searching for an article that covers 5 topics. 1 is cost and pricing, 2 is comparisons, 3 is problems and solutions, 4 is reviews, and 5 is best of lists. So I'm providing ChatGPT that context. So that's the type of content that I'm looking for. And then I'm asking for each of these, create 5 topics. For each of the 5 topics, create 3 blog article titles about concrete cutting blades specifically. And then boom, it created a number of different blog topics that are under cost and pricing, comparisons, problems and solutions, reviews, best of lists. So again, it's a great tool for brainstorming, a great tool for coming up with ideas, even coming up with the first draft of each of these articles. But like I had mentioned, don't go with that article as is. It needs to go through editorial control. Now, I've said the word article probably 20, 50 times during this webinar so far. This shouldn't just be article content. It should also be video content. It could be audio content if you have a podcast. Video content is fantastic for providing educational value on your site. Not only is it easy for people to consume, it's also very easy for people to view on their mobile devices. It also can bubble up in YouTube, which is the second most popular search engine that's out there. So when you're creating this content, don't just focus on blog articles, focus on videos, focus on downloadable guides, focus on content in a number of different ways, whatever ways that would make it easier for your customers to consume so they can make more intelligent decisions. Okay. Next, you want to make it easy for customers to buy. As we saw earlier, Customers that are on your site, when they're ready to make that purchase, only about a third will actually conduct that shopping cart transaction. The other two-thirds, they want to email in a quote request, they want to call in, speak with a salesperson, they want to reach out some other way. So what you want to do is provide a number of different ways for customers to buy the way that they want to buy. So don't assume that they're going to add things to a cart, put in a credit card, and be able to place that order. What you want to be able to do is provide them with a number of different ways. Here's one example of how it could be done. With this particular product, there's no personalized pricing for this particular customer. This is public pricing that's out there. So they can add this to a cart and buy it right now if they want to. However, if they want to buy a larger quantity or they think they can negotiate a better price, they can submit a quote request. They can build a quote. They could submit a purchase order. A phone number should be available so that people can reach out and call your sales reps. Online chat should be available so people can conduct chat either with chatbots or with live people. So you need to provide a number of different ways for people that are on your website performing that research to actually conduct that transaction in ways other than that shopping cart transaction. If not, you are leaking sales. I guarantee you're losing out on sales if you're only relying on shopping cart, credit card transactions. Okay, next, you need to make sure that you're leveraging search engine marketing. This is not a new concept, but it is changing tremendously. So your search engine marketing strategies from 12 months ago, even 6 months ago in some cases, are not enough for competing today. Generative AI, they want to take over Google, basically. They don't want people to go to Google to perform research. They want people to go to their applications, their sites to do it. So there's a lot going on with generative AI and search engine marketing and AI in general. So what you need to do is make sure that your search engine marketing strategy is up to date. Taking advantage of ranking in the organic search results. These are the natural results where the majority of people will click on. Your best way of ranking here is by providing great content, like I just talked about before, with product content and educational content that is extremely relevant to what your customers are looking for and is really authoritative. It's the best content that's out there online. So the process of improving your ranking in the organic results, you earn your way in. It's an ongoing process of contributing content and building that presence, but that your results are lasting. The other opportunity is advertising in the paid search results, also known as pay-per-click advertising. This is the quickest way to the top because you're buying your way in. Your ranking is determined by how much you're willing to pay per click or pay per visit, the relevancy of your ad, as well as your website to what that person's searching on, what targeting criteria you have in place, what specific areas you're trying to target, and the budget you're willing to put in place. If you've been running pay-per-click, shopping ads or text ads for a while, you need to start rethinking that because Google has changed the way that they're running their pay-per-click campaigns. They're putting AI into the mix. There are now pay-per-click campaigns that you can set up that are either called performance max campaigns, which are artificial intelligence-driven campaigns that Google runs for you. And then there are demand generation campaigns, which are campaigns that you have more control over the variables. The demand generation campaigns were what we were typically using. Now with the performance max campaigns, it opens up a whole new opportunity. The conversion rates, the click-through rates are stronger with Performance Max, in my opinion, at least with the clients that we're working with. However, you need to monitor it very carefully or else you're going to end up wasting a lot of money because Google may start showing your ads in places that you don't want it to be or just in places that are not relevant based on what your customer is looking for. So key idea here is that you still need to leverage search engine marketing to attract traffic, but you need to take a look at it and make sure that you're leveraging contemporary strategies for organic search engine marketing and pay-per-click advertising to make sure that you are getting the most customers to visit your site for the least investment in ads and the time and resources. Okay. I mentioned before that you want to make sure that you're nurturing relationships with your existing customer base. This is done in a lot of ways through your traditional sales outreach. Like I said, I want every sales order that comes in via your website to be assigned to a salesperson. So every customer, whether they're an online customer or an offline customer, there is a salesperson behind your company there to serve them. So what I'm going to be talking about here are some other ways that you can automate that process, leveraging marketing automation. So marketing automation basically is customizing the experience, the messages, the information that people are receiving based on the interactions that they received or the interactions that they had with your company. Some e-commerce packages have marketing automation built into them. So like things like if people abandon a shopping cart, they'll receive an email, an example of that. Other systems like HubSpot provide marketing automation that allow you to personalize the approach. The idea is that instead of sending out bulk email messages, the same message that goes out to everybody, we're going to send out personalized messages based on interactions that people have had with your website, with your company, with other content that you offer online. So here's some examples. A welcome message. So if they place an order online, even though they're going to receive the traditional order email messages, they should receive a welcome message from the sales rep that is assigned to them, letting them know, hi, I'm Bob DeStefano. Thank you for your order. I'm here if you ever have any questions or if you need any assistance. The order confirmations, of course, to let them know the order was received and what's next. Shipping confirmations, abandoned cart that I just mentioned. Personalized promotions. A lot of times distributors are missing the mark with their broadcast email marketing because they're sending out the same promotions to their entire customer base, as opposed to really segmenting their customer base and sending out targeted promotions or other cross-selling opportunities that customer might be interested in. So you want to make sure that you are sending out promotions that are very targeted based on buyer behavior. Educational email newsletters to demonstrate that thought leadership. That great content that we're providing on the site that answer those customer questions, let's send that information out to our customers on a regular basis in our email newsletter. And the email newsletter can be part promotional, part educational. So even though the bulk of the message may be an educational article that send people back to the site, there are also going to be some targeted product promotions in there as well that they can take advantage of. Sales notifications to let them know certain deals they can take advantage of. They're the first ones to know about it. And finally, this is the simplest one, thank you emails. Just out of the blue messages that they receive, just to let them know, we value your business and we are here to serve you. Not here to sell you anything right now. I just want to let you know how important you are to me. So take advantage of leveraging email marketing in ways that you can grow relationships and sales on your e-commerce site and in your digital marketing, and you will grow business within your existing customer base. Okay, and then finally, the right way to measure e-commerce ROI. This is an area that I think that the majority of the distributors that I speak with initially have difficulty with, because they are judging their digital marketing initiatives, their digital marketing investments and e-commerce investments just based on the shopping cart transaction that came in. So they're looking at, I invested this much in marketing, I invested this much in our website, and this is what came in orders over the past month. The ROI is not there. This isn't working for us. And it's because they're not thinking about it the right way. And I'm going to point you in the right direction. The first is to know what your customers are worth to you. What that means is, what is your customer lifetime value? It's unfortunate that a lot of times companies do not know the value of their customers. They don't know what the value is, lifetime value is of that customer in profits for all the orders. They take a look at just the first order that people place, and then they judge their marketing investments based on that, but they don't judge it based on all the other orders that are going to be placed over the course of the lifetime of doing business with that customer. So I want you to calculate your customer lifetime value. And here's the simple formula that's up on the screen. And this formula is something that you can send over to your accounting people and say, calculate this for me. It's all based on information that's coming right from your financial systems. So first thing you need to figure out is, what is your average purchase value? See, what you want to say is, okay, for the past year, what was our revenue? How many purchases did we have over the course of the year? Calculate that and we figure out, okay, so our average purchase value is $500. Okay, well, what's our average gross margin on that order? Let's say that it is 40% is our gross margin. Okay, we figured out that. Okay, what's our average purchase frequency? So how many purchases did we receive in the past year, and how many unique customers purchased from us? Well, based on that, we had 14 purchases per customer on average. Okay, and then how many years do customers generally do business with us? Well, they normally do business with us 7 years. Okay, now that we have that information, we can calculate the customer lifetime value. And we realize that that investment we made in that new customer to get that $500 order really turns out to be a almost $20,000 valuable customer to us in the lifetime of doing business with us. So you need to make sure that you know your customer lifetime value and you're considering that when you're making your marketing investments. If you are just making investments or making decisions based on that first order, you are missing out and you're leaving money on the table. Okay, again, we have to consider revenue beyond the shopping cart as well. This is basically a graphical representation of the distribution strategy group information I provided to you earlier, where B2B customers will shop online, but they will buy multiple ways. So they're shopping, going to Google, they're taking a look at social media, they're going to your website, they're going to manufacturers' websites, they're getting on your site, they're figuring out what they want to buy, now they're ready to buy it. And like I said before, only about a third will actually conduct a shopping cart transaction. 45% want a quote request. 26% want to phone in or online chat. 20% want to go online and find the product and then actually go to your store to get it. So you need to make sure that you have the right process in place in order to measure this. Most distributors that I talk to initially do not. They rely just on the online information, the analytic data that they can get from their website and from their Google Analytics product. So I'm going to try and set you straight on what you should be doing. You need to calculate web-assisted sales. And what web-assisted sales are, these are transactions where digital channels, your website, search engine marketing, whatever it would be, online channels, influence the customer's purchase and eventually led to the product sale. And there's essentially three types of web-assisted sales. First is direct online sales. They're easy. They're the ones you're tracking already. Those are products that people ordered via your shopping cart. So we know what are direct online sales. But they're only about a third, as we mentioned before. So how do we capture the other 2/3? Well, you have to take a look at online lead conversions. And what that means is that product sales were generated from online inquiries that subsequently converted offline. So they went on your website, they performed the research, they found the product, but then they filled out a quote request, or they called a salesperson, or they submitted an online chat request, or whatever that would be. So it initiated online, but the actual order closed offline. So those are lead conversions that we want to keep track of. Next is omni-channel influence, which is even more difficult to keep track of. And these are product sales that take place offline, but with a discernible digital touch point during the customer decision-making process. So like I said before, there's 20% that want to go on your website, they want to do research, they want to find the product that you're looking for, and then they want to go to your storefront, your location, and actually get the product itself. So there needs to be a way that you can track that omni-channel influence so that you can basically capture all of those different things. So this is not easy, but it's not difficult either. There's a path to do it. And you just need to make sure that you have all the different strategies in place that I mentioned before with that unified sales team, sharing information, and the right technology tools in place. So the tools you need to in place to do this, I'm going to summarize this very basically. This is customized based on your individual situation, but essentially this is what you'll need. Web analytics. Most of you have web analytics in place. I will caution you, if you do not have Google Analytics 4 in place, you need to get it in place immediately because Google switched over its product in a major way over the past year or so. And the way that it tracks data is completely different. So if you have not upgraded your Google Analytics product to Google Analytics 4 and you did not configure it properly, you need to do it immediately. Extremely important so that you can track all of your digital marketing activity, not only your online sales, but also the results of your digital marketing investments. You want to add on to this call analytics. And what call analytics does is call analytics will track the inbound phone calls that you're receiving from online activities. So if somebody does a search on Google, clicks on your ad, visit your website, they're on a product page, and now they're ready to place an order, but they want to call. They want to call a salesperson. Call analytics will be able to track and tell you this customer that's calling right now, they're calling because they clicked on this pay-per-click ad that you spent this amount on, and this is the information you need to keep track to see, did it actually turn into a sale? So in order to track the offline activity, you need to have call analytics in place for the inbound phone activity. And then to track all the sales activity, you need to have a good CRM system in place. And when I mean a good CRM system in place, I mean a system that your reps will actually use, something that's easy. Just about every company I talk to has some form of CRM system available to them. However, their salespeople aren't using it either in the same way or they're not using it at all. So you need to make sure that you have an easy-to-use CRM system. CallRail is what I recommend for call analytics. Fantastic package, very inexpensive, very easy to implement. That's a no-brainer in my opinion. For the CRM, that's more of a discussion that's more on an individualized basis. Sometimes there's a great CRM system as part of your ERP system. Maybe you have something else in place that you're using. If you're using nothing and you want to try a brand new approach towards it, I recommend you take a look at HubSpot. HubSpot provides an extremely easy to use CRM system that requires virtually no training and also offers all of the marketing automation capabilities that I mentioned earlier. So you need to make sure you have the necessary tools in place so that you can track those web-assisted sales, so that you really can figure out what is the ROI from all of your digital marketing and e-commerce investments so that you can make informed decisions so how you can grow things. So you have all the tools you need to compete against the B2B e-commerce giants. Again, it's providing that personalized approach so that you can show to them that you are their best choice, the best company to work with. But you need to make sure you have the right technologies in place and processes in place in order to not only implement them, manage them on an ongoing basis, but also measure the results and return on investment so that you can prove you've been successful in the past, as well as improve your success going forward. Okay, so that is the end of the content. So I provided you with a framework for competing against the B2B e-commerce giants. And it is a nice step-by-step approach. It's not a difficult approach. And like I said at the onset, you have unique advantages that the big players do not, in that you can provide that personalized, customized approach towards your customers and towards prospects. Some things are easy to implement. Some things may take some time. The key is that you do something with this information. Don't just watch this and take it in. Figure out what are the areas that you should focus on. What's the low-hanging fruit that's out there? What are the opportunities that you can take advantage of right away to start putting some of these ideas into action? Now, I can't give you those personalized ideas in this presentation. However, I want to give you these personalized ideas through a free service that I am offering to attendees of this webinar called my Digital Marketing Opportunity Blueprint. And the idea here is that I will take a look at your individual situation. I will work with you, have a consultation. We'll have a one-on-one call where I'll understand a lot more about your business, your product and service offerings, your target customers, website, current marketing efforts. I will ask for access, read-only access to your analytics so I can take a look at things so that I can get sort of the base information that I need to perform my analysis. The next step is the audit. That's where I will review your website, perform a thorough review, and your various marketing activities that you have underway. I'll perform a detailed review of your analytics, both your web analytics and your e-commerce analytics, to look for gaps and look for areas that you might be leaking customers and areas that you can quickly improve to boost your sales. I'll survey your competitive search position to let you know where the opportunities exist to attract more new customers, and put all this information into a detailed blueprint that will outline the top opportunities to grow your sales. So this will be a very detailed analysis that will let you know this is where you are. These are the issues that you currently have that can be addressed. This is why you should be addressing them and what the opportunity that's there. And this is the priority that you should be addressing them in. And I'll be presenting this to you via Zoom call, where I will discuss the ideas, provide you with the specific next steps, prioritize your opportunities, and answer your toughest questions. The way to go about this is simply go to that link that I provided. You'll see a place where you can just pick some time on my calendar, and we will get that process started with the consultation. So again, to get it started, just go to svmsolutions.com/blueprint. You can give me a call at the number there or scan the QR code on the screen, and we can get this process started for you. I do have time available later this week as well as next week if you want to get this going so that we really can start working on these ideas while they're still fresh in your mind. Very good. Now I will take a look and see if there are any other questions that have come in. If you haven't submitted your questions, please do so. You can do it via the Q&A box at the bottom. Okay. All right. Okay, one of the questions, the easy one, is the presentation going to be available later? Yes, I will be sending you out a copy of the recording of this presentation so that you will be able to review it at your leisure, as well as share it with your colleagues. Next, how can I get my salespeople on board if they're old school? This is a big topic that occurs a lot of times, because in many cases, your sales team may be, let's call it seasoned. They've been doing business a certain way for a long time, and they may be shy of new ideas and new activities. I would recommend in those cases that you find a champion within your sales team that is willing to try new ideas, willing to try this new approach, and make them your point person for your e-commerce sales. So that they can basically help you establish the processes that will work very well, but also they will establish sort of a pattern that the other salespeople can take a look at. If they see this person succeeding as this embracing this hybrid sales model, you'll start to see more people come into the fold. So find the champion within your organization, in your sales team, that's willing to go forward with this, and then approach it that way. Let's see. How will AI impact search engine marketing? That's a big question. Fortunately, I don't have the answer right now. All I can say is that it's going to impact it tremendously. Google is threatened more than it's been in the past 25 years, because it has had a stronghold not only on search volume, but also on digital advertising when it comes to providing search advertising. Generative AI, if people start going to generative AI tools to find answers to questions and find products that they're performing research on, and they stop using traditional search, Google's revenue model starts going in the tank. So a lot's going to occur over the next 6, 12, 18 months. So I would keep your eyes open. And that's why I stress that with the search engine marketing segment. If you are still relying on tactics from even just 12 months ago, 6 months ago, take a fresh look at them, because you may need to update them. In fact, I'm almost guaranteed that you would need to. And the final one is, how important is video content? I talked a bit about video content there before. Video content is extremely important because it's easy for people to consume. It's easy for you to record. You don't need expensive video equipment. You don't need to hire a production company. If you have a contemporary smartphone, you can record the great video content that you would need for your product content as well as for your educational content. Okay, I want to thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope that you found this information valuable. If you have any questions about any of this content or anything related to digital marketing, please feel free to reach out to me as a resource. And also, I strongly recommend that you take advantage of this digital marketing opportunity blueprint. You will get tremendous value out of it, and there is no obligation associated with it. So if you really want to know exactly what you should be focusing on first, to really create a strong e-commerce marketing effort, take advantage of that opportunity. Have a great day.